Hades is a roguelike game published by Supergiant Games in 2020 in which Zagreus, the son of the Greek god of death for which the game is named, repeatedly attempts to escape from the depths of hell. In typical roguelike form, Hades' underworld consists of randomly generated labyrinth-style rooms filled with enemies and rewards. Zagreus must face these challenges to escape, and if he dies in the process, he is sent back to his home, the House of Hades. The presence of this home in Hades, a space fully characterized by social and material exchange, reveals the capitalistic mechanisms within the game that serve to stimulate and engage modern-day players beyond the range of other roguelike games. This house is one of the most important factors that differentiates Hades from the typical roguelike game. This House of Hades not only serves as a restarting point, it also serves as a place where Zagreus can unlock new abilities as well as build relationships with other characters. While most roguelikes require the character to restart their journeys from scratch, Hades provides a familiar setting to return upon death, ripe with new opportunities for the purchasing of items and new skill sets. Why then, if roguelikes depend on the driving need to escape and move forward, does Hades base itself around the symbol of the home? How does the embedded nature of the home and the marketplace complicate, or rather, enhance, the gameplay of this roguelike? What can the structure and function of this home reveal to us about players' relationships to capitalism and the need for social exchange? After each failed escape attempt, Zagreus emerges from a bloody pool into the grand hallway of the House of Hades. As he enters, he is greeted by other characters who remark upon the details of his failed journey or reveal details about the overarching narrative of the game. Moving around the different rooms of the house, the player is given the option to explore this space, engaging in trade or conversation. Based on the actual layout of the space, the player is forced to navigate through the house before attempting to escape again. As seen here, Zagreus must pass by his father in the Great Hall, where he is working, pass by the lounge, which houses the wretched broker with which he can make exchanges for necessary items, and eventually pass through his bedroom, which houses a special mirror in which he is able to upgrade his abilities. And finally, he must pass through the armory full of unlocked weapons, all before reaching the window that leads him to the first room of Tartarus on his next escape attempt. In each of these spaces, notifications signal new opportunities to speak to characters in these locations, or to buy new items offered by the spirits to help you on your journey. The substantial virtual space that must be traversed by the player might merely be run through or ignored. However, players are drawn toward interactivity by the potential for novel interactions or purchases that they might be able to make. Even though Zagreus is hell-bent on escaping Hades, the player is drawn to this home that he is trying to leave, investing time and money into the upkeep of relationships there, as well as into the upkeep of the actual home itself. The player is able to go visit the house contractors, paying them gemstones in exchange for additions of flowers, sofas, or the changing of rug or curtain colors. Players can visit the lounge area to visit with others or make purchases with the wretched broker for items that can unlock skills or level up relationships. Players are even offered special limited-time deals by the wretched broker, forcing players to rationalize whether the new exchange rates make the offer worth their spending, a practice so often used in the modern-day shopping economy. Within every corner of the house, the player is met with ever-changing opportunities for engagement with people and goods, not unlike in a giant marketplace. If we are to consider the House of Hades as a space built for exchange, both social and material, how do we reconcile with the idea that this market space has integrated itself within a home space? Trade and commerce are essential to the progression of the narrative and also enable more successful escape attempts, encouraging players to engage in exchanges each time that they return to the house. As seen in these clips, even the mirror in Zagreus' bedroom has been instilled with an ability to exchange darkness, a currency collected during escape attempts, for upgrades to Zagreus' attack, defense, and special abilities. The mechanics of the game even deny the player from accessing the regular functions of a bedroom, as a click on the bed results in Zagreus refusing to rest. The transformation of this everyday bedroom space into a market space reveals that during gameplay, players gain a sense of satisfaction from exchanges and progress, rather than treating the house as a space to rest. These exchanges are not limitless upon every return, however. Character interactions are limited to only a few retorts, and once the player runs out of currency that is able to be exchanged, they can no longer make investments in new skills or items. The establishment of these limits is vital to the mechanics of the game, since the player is then forced to make another escape attempt in order to collect more currency and reboot new character interactions. In this manner, Hades becomes a self-fueled cycle, coupling each escape attempt with the collection of currency and each return to the house with exchange-based rewards. Even within the labyrinth of the underworld, the player can make decisions as to which path they want to take, guided by the promise of whichever reward they desire most. For example, a player could decide to choose between one door indicating a reward of darkness for spending and unlocking abilities, or a door indicating a reward of gemstones, which could be used later for upgrades and restorations to the house. The player is thereby offered the possibility of increasing the chance of collecting currencies, or picking between the types of currencies they desire, highlighting the capitalistic collecting and spending reward system that underlies the game. In addition to commercial exchange, social exchange plays an important role in revealing the overarching narrative and materialism of the game. The player is able to talk and interact with the varying cast of characters present in the house during each return, learning more about the history of Zagreus' family, as well as his progress through the underworld. In order to deepen these relationships, however, the player must use collected currencies such as gemstones, darkness, or keys to then purchase nectar, a substance that, when gifted to chosen characters, will deepen your relationship to them. In this manner, Zagreus' relationships to others are intertwined with the marketplace, since his relationships are reliant on the purchases of material goods. This nectar then gives you the power to purchase a new level of a character's affection, increasing the odds that the character will give you gifts back later in return. The inclusion of this dating sim-esque mechanic reveals another unique aspect of Hades' gameplay. Even while starting over from scratch in terms of progression in the underworld, you can continue to progress in your interpersonal relationships through trade. In the era of social media and the digital age, this mechanic could provide an interesting case study to cause us to question how we see our relationships with others online. Might this reflect relationships between bot followers or likes? In reality, all of our relationships are exchange-based, even if on an emotional rather than on a material level. And in Hades, these purely purchased relationships can provide gratification to the player through reciprocity and increased access to skill and narrative possibility. Characters and settings within Hades are based on ancient Greek mythology. Therefore, we may benefit from an understanding of how the home itself was understood during this time period. The word household, oikos, in ancient Greek, referred to the family's property, and the house. Oikos was seen as the most basic unit of society. Modern thinkers have analyzed what concepts would typically be associated with oikos, arguing that life processes such as birth, death, sickness, as well as economy were all under the umbrella of the home, rather than belonging to the category of the polis, or the city-state. This distinction reveals that commerce and economy were not considered to be under the realm of the political. Rather, they were associated with the idea of the home, property, and the family. In this manner, Hades provides an excellent example of what oikos might look like, embedding economic exchanges within the household. Additionally, the concepts of work and duty are central themes within the house, interweaving the responsibilities of a job with the gameplay of a roguelike. For example, Hades himself will occasionally appear to be sorting through the business that the Shades bring up, denying or approving their requests. The player never sees Hades removed from his desk, unless he faces the final boss before escaping the underworld. Even once the final events of the game have passed, Zagreus is given a job. He will continue in his escape attempts, but this time he'll do so in order to find security vulnerabilities within the underworld's labyrinths. In this manner, the game's narrative appropriates the player's understanding and concepts of work and responsibility to encourage players to continue battling through the chambers, collecting, strengthening, and exchanging in a never-ending cycle. In this manner, we might explore how we ourselves might be stuck in a Hades-like cycle, working, collecting, and spending on a daily basis, all from the comfort of our own homes. Taking this concept into account, it's possible to consider Hades as an allegory for the player's modern-day lives as we go out into the world to work and collect currency, returning home to spend that currency on goods or aesthetic desires. This cyclicality is replicated in the form of Hades, instilling players with a sense of satisfaction when Zagreus purchases new skills, deepens a relationship, or makes purchases for the aesthetics of the house. Social and material exchange, which are so central to our day-to-day lives, are fully and deeply embedded into the house, providing players with a sense of encouragement and investment in the game, fueling the future cycles of escape attempts and providing players with fulfilling gameplay for hours on end.